Ethan had always loved the quiet hum of his workshop. The soft flicker of lights over rows of tools, and the smell of engine oil and metal filled his small cabin on the edge of the space colony. Most people found him odd. He preferred machines to company and silence to chatter. Yet, for him, every spark of electricity and every gear turning was a conversation he could understand. Life was simple here. Predictable and safe. That is, until the night he heard the faintest of signals. It started as a low pulse on his scanner. He had been testing a new energy core for an old shuttle when the pattern appeared, a signal almost too weak to notice, but unusual enough to catch his curiosity. Ethan leaned over the console, adjusting frequencies, squinting at the blinking lights. The signal repeated itself, a rhythmic tapping that seemed deliberate. Someone, or something, was calling for help. Ethan felt a stir of excitement. He had seen distress signals before, usually from ships that had drifted off course or crashed on asteroids. But this one was different. It carried a subtle vibrancy, almost like a heartbeat. Without thinking much, he activated his shuttle, performing the usual safety checks with practiced precision. He set coordinates for the source, a small cluster of asteroids on the edge of the outer belt. The journey was long, but the signal guided him steadily, pulsing stronger with each passing hour. The asteroid field was dense and dangerous. Rocks floated in slow orbits, some as large as buildings, others no bigger than his fist. Ethan maneuvered carefully, the shuttle responding like an extension of his own hands. Suddenly, a gleam of metal caught his eye from the shadows. He slowed down, using a spotlight to reveal what lay ahead. A small spacecraft, partially hidden behind a jagged asteroid. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Its hull shimmered with a soft, bluish light, and delicate patterns ran across its surface, almost like veins of energy. The craft looked broken, scarred from some past collision. But it was clearly functional, once repaired. Ethan's pulse quickened. This was no ordinary ship. He docked nearby and suited up, taking his toolkit. Approaching the craft cautiously, he noticed movement inside. A soft, uneven breathing echoed through the hull. He carefully pried open the entrance, revealing a young figure curled up inside. At first, he thought it was a child, but her features were unlike any human's. Her skin glowed faintly, like moonlight caught in water. Her eyes were closed, and when she breathed, tiny sparks of light danced across her cheeks. "Hey! Hey! It's okay," Ethan said gently. His voice was the first sound she had likely heard in hours, maybe days. She stirred, her eyes fluttering open. The moment she looked at him, Ethan felt an odd warmth, like the universe itself had focused on her gaze. Her eyes were large, bright, and intelligent, shimmering with colors he could not name. She blinked, confused, and a soft hum emitted from her mouth, a sound that almost felt musical. Ethan knelt beside her, examining the ship. "You're hurt, but I think I can fix this," he said. Her hand twitched slightly, as if acknowledging him, though he could not be sure. He had always been good with machines, but living beings, they were unpredictable. Still, he had a feeling that helping her was not just the right thing to do, it was necessary. He carefully moved around the control panels, analyzing damage, while keeping an eye on her. Wires were cut, circuits burned, and energy cores destabilized. It was complex, yet somehow familiar patterns emerged. Human engineering, he realized, and alien engineering were not so different. Intelligence, after all, had its universal ways. Hours passed. Ethan worked methodically, adjusting circuits, recalibrating the ship's energy flow, and improvising with spare parts from his shuttle. The young alien watched quietly, her head tilted, humming softly now and then. Every now and then, she would extend a hand toward him, and tiny sparks would jump from her fingertips, He flinched at first, but soon realized it was harmless, almost playful. Communication, he realized, did not need words. Understanding could flow through simple gestures and shared effort. By the time the ship's systems blinked back to life, she was sitting up, her eyes wide with curiosity. Ethan smiled faintly. "There," he said. "We're not perfect yet, but you can move." The alien girl, whose name he would soon learn was Arya, tilted her head. Then, slowly, she mimicked a gesture, touching his hand with hers. A soft glow spread briefly between them, and Ethan felt a strange connection, as though trust itself could be felt like warmth. As night fell over the asteroid belt, strange anomalies began. Energy pulses drifted nearby, like invisible waves rippling across space. Ethan noticed patterns in his scanner, small, fast-moving drones that were searching, scanning. He felt a chill. Whoever, or whatever, was looking for Arya would not stop easily. She had come from somewhere important, and the universe itself seemed aware of that significance. For the first time in years, Ethan's mind raced not with mechanical calculations, but with concern for a living being, entirely alien, yet entirely deserving of protection. Arya sensed it too. Her body tensed, and the small hum she had been making grew sharper, almost warning him. Ethan nodded. "We'll need to leave," he said, though she did not need words to understand. He returned to the controls, starting the shuttle's engine and guiding the alien ship into position. It responded to him, as if recognizing his touch, its systems humming a harmonic tune with his shuttle. Together, they lifted off from the asteroid, weaving between floating rocks, heading into the dark expanse beyond. During the flight, Ethan attempted to communicate. "I'm Ethan," he said. "What's your name?" She closed her eyes briefly, then opened them and projected a small image into his mind. The word Arya. Her method was strange, like a dream made of colors and feelings. Ethan blinked, then smiled. "Arya. All right. That works." She seemed to understand, and a small glow of light flickered in her chest. A human might have called it a smile. The journey was not easy. Space was unpredictable, even in the outer belt. Meteoroids whizzed past, magnetic storms scrambled instruments, and the ship's alien systems reacted unpredictably. Yet, Ethan's resourcefulness, honed over years of trial and error, allowed them to navigate through each danger. Where alien technology failed, human intuition succeeded. He felt a surge of pride, not for himself, but for the potential of humanity, small and resilient, making a difference in a galaxy far beyond Earth. As they traveled, Ethan noticed strange readings on the scanners. Signals, stronger than the one that brought him here, flickered in bursts, like searchlights in space. Whoever was seeking Arya would not give up easily. He looked at her, glowing softly in her seat. Despite the danger, she seemed calm now, trusting him completely. Ethan realized that he had never felt such responsibility. He was no longer just a mechanic on a quiet colony. He was a protector, a bridge between worlds, and the first human she had ever met. For hours, they flew in silence, broken only by the soft hums and beeps of the alien ship and Ethan's occasional reassurances. Arya would occasionally touch a control panel, and the ship would respond. It was a shared dance of understanding, two beings learning to cooperate across species and worlds. He marveled at her intelligence, at the way she sensed the environment, predicting reactions before the instruments could even record them. Humanity had ingenuity, yes, but there were beings in the universe whose gifts complemented human skills in ways he had never imagined. Finally, after navigating a particularly dense asteroid cluster, they reached a small safe zone, a space station abandoned decades ago. It was derelict, but functional enough for them to rest. Ethan docked the ship, helping Arya down gently. She hovered slightly above the floor, her feet not quite touching it, her eyes scanning every corner. Ethan smiled. "We're safe for now," he said. She hummed softly, a sound that conveyed gratitude and relief. They spent the night there. Ethan examined the ship more closely, repairing circuits and testing energy cores while Arya observed. Though she did not speak in words, she communicated ideas, concepts, and suggestions telepathically. Ethan realized that intelligence, curiosity, and creativity were universal languages. Here, in the quiet of an abandoned station, humanity and alien ingenuity worked side by side. By the time dawn touched the station with pale light, the ship was nearly ready. Ethan had patched most damages, and Arya's systems were stabilizing. He felt a strange sense of accomplishment. It was not just a machine he had repaired. It was a life, a future, a connection that could change the course of more than just one person's story. He knew this journey was only beginning. Beyond the asteroid belt, beyond the signals, beyond the stars, awaited a destiny that neither he nor Arya could have imagined, but he was ready. Humanity's spirit, its curiosity, its courage, would guide them both. And as the first rays of light pierced the abandoned station, Arya's eyes glimmered, reflecting hope, trust, and a promise of adventures far greater than anything Ethan had ever dared to dream. Ethan watched the stars blur as the ship accelerated out of the abandoned station. Arya sat beside him, hovering slightly above her seat, her glowing eyes fixed on the controls she now understood far better than he did. Her movements were delicate but confident, guiding the ship with precision that amazed him. Yet, even with her skill, Ethan's intuition remained essential. They were a team, each complementing the other, blending human ingenuity with alien sophistication. The journey to Arya's home galaxy was long, and the vast emptiness of space allowed Ethan time to reflect. He had always believed humans were resourceful, but now he realized the true measure of that resourcefulness. Out here, in a universe far beyond Earth, he had no manual, no guide, no instructions, but he could solve problems. He could think. He could adapt. That, he understood, was the essence of humanity. They encountered their first challenge sooner than expected. A field of ionized particles blocked their path, swirling like a storm frozen in space. Arya's ship tried to compensate automatically, but the turbulence was too erratic. Ethan leaned over the console, analyzing readings, tapping controls with rapid precision. He had no experience with alien energy storms, yet patterns emerged. He guided the ship with a combination of intuition and instinct, predicting fluctuations before the instruments could. Arya watched him silently, a soft hum vibrating from her chest, and the ship obeyed. Together, they pierced the storm. When the chaos finally passed, Ethan felt a surge of pride. "It's beautiful," Arya said, projecting the thought into his mind. Ethan smiled, realizing that for the first time, he could understand her words without translating gestures or signals. "Yes," he said aloud. "And dangerous. But we made it," she responded with a glow of light, a sign of shared accomplishment. As they approached her galaxy, the scenery changed. Nebulae painted the cosmos in colors Ethan had no names for. Giant planets with rings of crystal and ice drifted in majestic arcs. Stars blinked in sequences that seemed like music. Ethan felt awe. The same feeling he had once experienced on Earth when gazing at the night sky, but amplified infinitely. This was the universe's beauty, its intelligence, and its mystery, revealed in its full glory. Then the unexpected happened. Scanners picked up movement drones, similar to the ones in the asteroid belt, but faster, more coordinated. Ethan's instincts flared. "We're being followed," he said. Arya's glow dimmed slightly, a sign of concern. The drones formed a grid, scanning every approach vector. They were not just looking for her, they were hunting her. Ethan's mind raced. They could not outrun them forever. Instead, He combined the ship's alien propulsion system with his human improvisation. Small adjustments, shifts in energy flow, and creative maneuvers allowed them to slip past the drones undetected. Arya watched, fascinated. "You are clever," she projected into his mind. Ethan shrugged, smiling modestly. "Humans survive by thinking, by adapting. Sometimes, that's all it takes." She hummed softly, as if agreeing, her glowing form reflecting trust and admiration. Finally, they reached her homeworld. It was unlike anything Ethan had imagined. A planet covered in vast forests that shimmered with bioluminescent light, oceans that glowed under twin moons, and cities that floated above the ground, held aloft by invisible energy currents. Arya guided the ship through a narrow pass, landing gently in a hidden area of the city. The buildings welcomed them silently, as if the planet itself recognized her presence. The inhabitants appeared tall, slender, luminous beings, each radiating intelligence and calm. They moved gracefully, observing Ethan with curiosity rather than hostility. Arya introduced him simply, projecting his name and gestures into their minds. The aliens studied him, sensing his ingenuity, his courage, and his curiosity. In a way, they recognized the same qualities in humans that had allowed him to repair the ship, navigate dangers, and protect Arya. Ethan realized then that humans were more than he had imagined. They were not the only intelligent life, certainly, but their resourcefulness, empathy, and determination could bridge worlds. Here, on a distant planet, he saw a reflection of humanity's potential: creativity that could solve problems, courage that could face the unknown, and intelligence that could adapt to any challenge. Arya guided him further, showing the planet's central hub a massive, crystalline structure housing an advanced energy network. She indicated the problem. A critical energy grid malfunctioned, threatening the stability of the entire city. The aliens had tried countless solutions, but failed to resolve it. Ethan's heart raced. This was beyond anything he had faced, yet he felt a strange confidence. Humanity had survived countless challenges on Earth, solving problems with limited resources and untested ideas. Perhaps he could do it here as well. He examined the network, analyzing patterns and flows. The problem was complex, yes, but not unsolvable. Ethan combined his understanding of human engineering with observations of alien energy principles. He made adjustments, rerouted flows, stabilized feedback loops, and improvised with available resources. Arya assisted, showing subtle tricks and techniques unique to her species. Hours passed, yet Ethan persisted. He tested, recalibrated, and refined, until the grid hummed in perfect balance. The aliens watched in awe. Systems that had been unstable for generations now operated flawlessly. The city thrummed with energy, lights glowing in harmony, structures floating smoothly in the air. Ethan stepped back, exhausted but triumphant. Arya floated beside him, glowing brighter than ever. The aliens approached him, not with fear or suspicion, but with respect and gratitude. In their eyes, he saw recognition, not just for his skills, but for what humans could accomplish when faced with challenges. "You are remarkable," Arya projected, her voice soft in his mind. Ethan laughed quietly, a little embarrassed. "I'm just a human," he said aloud. "We figure things out, that's all." She hummed, as if agreeing, and for the first time, he felt a profound connection between human ingenuity and alien understanding. Days passed, and Ethan explored the planet, learning from its inhabitants and sharing knowledge in return. He discovered that humans had, in some distant past, inspired some of their technology. Patterns of creativity and problem-solving seemed familiar across both species. Ethan realized that humans were not alone in their potential. Intelligence, when combined with courage and curiosity, could travel across galaxies, forming connections that no one could have predicted. Eventually, it came time to decide. The aliens offered him a choice: stay on the planet, learn their secrets, explore the galaxy alongside them, or return to his home colony with knowledge and experiences that could inspire humanity. Ethan looked at Arya, who shimmered beside him, then back at the vast cosmos beyond the planet. He thought of Earth, of his quiet workshop, of the people who might never see such wonders. He knew what he had to do. "I will return," he said, projecting his decision into her mind. "But I will carry what I have learned. I will share it. And someday, humanity will reach this far, and beyond." Arya's glow brightened, and she placed a small hand on his shoulder, a gesture of farewell and trust. Ethan smiled. The journey home was quiet but filled with reflection. Ethan guided the ship through nebulae, past glowing planets, and across the black expanse, knowing that he carried more than himself. He carried hope, knowledge, and a testament to what humans could achieve. He had met a being from another world, faced dangers he had never imagined, and triumphed not through strength or power, but through ingenuity, courage, and empathy. When he finally returned to his colony, nothing looked different at first. The same buildings, the same dusty workshops, the same familiar routines. But Ethan knew something had changed. He had seen the universe in ways no human had before. He had helped an alien race, repaired technology beyond comprehension, and forged bonds across species. Humanity, he realized, was capable of more than anyone had ever imagined. Arya had returned to her people. And though he would likely never see her again, the connection remained. He could still sense her presence in the ship's systems, in the glow of the stars, in the pulse of distant signals. And sometimes, when he tinkered late into the night, he would smile, remembering how curiosity, courage, and human ingenuity had led him across the universe to a world beyond imagination. Ethan understood then that the universe was not just a place to survive. It was a place to create, to learn, and to inspire. And humanity, small but determined, was ready to rise to that challenge. He looked up at the night sky, now richer with possibilities. Somewhere, beyond countless stars, other civilizations watched, and they, too, would see what humans could do. And for the first time, Ethan felt not just pride, but purpose. Humans were ready to reach beyond the stars, one thoughtful, daring step at a time. And with that thought, he returned to his workshop, ready to dream, to build, and to imagine new adventures, knowing that the universe was wide, welcoming, and waiting for humanity to claim its place among the stars.